For 17 years, Stephen Tubby has been commuting in and around New Plymouth by bike. A month ago, the part-time school teacher cycled his normal route but claims he was almost wiped out on one of the city's busiest streets. That vehicle was a police car and inside a uniformed police officer. Stephen says he pointed out the error of the policeman's ways and claims he was then manhandled and his bike copped even rougher treatment. Outright road rage, he says. But the police say Stephen stretched the truth and they've got the witnesses to prove it, which is a step further ahead than Steve, and he's got no witnesses. That's why he's talked a close-up. He hopes that those who saw what happened on May 6 on Vivian Street at 8 a.m. will come forward. Daniel Faitala went to New Plymouth today to investigate the case of the school teacher versus the police officer.
He just simply picked up my bike like this from the car. He came across like this and did this. Okay? That's what he did. Then he came back over here.
All Stephen Tubby wants is an apology from the New Plymouth police.
Picked me up. Dragged me across like this. I was going like this. Like this. He was dragging me across all the way to the bike.
It's been over a month and now he's calling for the public to help him.
Going to the newspaper, I hoped that people would be able to support me in my cause.
Stephen's a part-time school teacher and this is the route he cycles to work each day. It's here at this busy intersection Stephen claims he had a major run-in.
To my absolute surprise, I found a police car suddenly tried to get in ahead of me and cut me off, causing me to have to brake rapidly to avoid clambering over the car, in fact colliding with the car. I alerted him by tapping on his window, like this. And he very abruptly got out of the car, insisted I move back slightly, which I did, and got out of the car, and then simply told me to get off the road, as he felt it was dangerous.
And from there, he claims things got heated.
Picked me up, dragged me across, like this. I was going like this.
Stephen says he was in shock, but he managed to pull himself together to give the officer a piece of his mind.
I told him, I said, I don't really think you've done very well today and you really have got out of the wrong side of the bed this morning.
So was the police officer physically assaulting you?
He grabbed all the clothing and did this in order to get me off the ground, in order to drag me that distance.
But their allegations New Plymouth police reject.
I back my staff 100% in this incident and am completely satisfied that he acted both professionally and appropriately to deal with Mr Tubby.
Mr Tubby alleges he was physically assaulted.
We've spoken with the officer involved to get his side of the story, and he flatly denies the allegations that are made against him.
Police say a meeting was set up between Stephen and the officer. One
of my senior staff has tried to mediate between the two parties to see if we could find some common ground. Unfortunately, common ground wasn't able to be found, and as a result, an article was placed in the local newspaper which drew out some independent witnesses.
I am disappointed that the police made it very clear at the mediation, even after the police officer had run out of the room, because I believe he didn't really, he could not cope with the fact that I was challenging his facts.
So, to highlight his plight, Stephen went to the local newspaper. Have any witnesses come forward?
Not to my knowledge.
We've had two separate independent witnesses approach police. They're saying that Mr Tubby's behaviour was attention-seeking and he was acting in a manner that was probably not appropriate of a person who had all his faculties on the day.
This happening to me by a policeman, somebody I would believe should be a good role model to us all and be doing the right thing on the road. For a policeman to cut a cyclist off like this, I was very angry.
Are you an aggressive cyclist?
Absolutely not, no.
But later on in the interview, Stephen admits fault.
Admittedly, I didn't have an indicator on, however, I had checked behind me, could see some cars approaching very rapidly, as they do.
At any stage, did you overreact?
Maybe. I probably shouldn't have maybe approached the police officer in the angry state that I was. and should have just simply gone to the side of the road and calmed down and avoided conflict.
So you admit that.
Overreaction.
And it doesn't get any better for Stephen. While demonstrating to our cameras the course of events, Stephen realises his bike is damaged. Regardless, he stands by his version of the events and has written a letter to the Police Complaints Authority.
I simply want the police officer to apologise for his behaviour.
Mr Tubby can consider himself lucky that he wasn't arrested on the day for disorderly behaviour. I think if there's any apologies going to be given here, it should be by Mr Tubby to my police officer.
So, is he lucky? Do you think Stephen's had a rough ride, or do your sympathies lie with the cop? Were you a witness to the event? Go to our website, tvnz.co.nz/close-up, and you can link into our Facebook page. We want to hear from you.